I went outside to feel some of that fall weather a minute ago, and I didn't realize we were near some train tracks because I went outside, Ty, and you know what I heard? I heard the whistle blowing.
You heard the whistle blowing?
I went outside here at MD Labs, and you know what was happening? The whistle was blowing. And you know who I found out there blowing the whistle?
Who'd you find out there?
Eddie in Clarksville was outside here at MD Labs, and the whistle was blowing. The hog train has arrived, Clay, in Rogers, Arkansas this morning. In person, in the flesh. Eddie
Doesn't get any better than that.
No, I don't see how we can lose this game now tomorrow. Eddie, how in the world did you get from Clarksville to Rogers this morning?
Well, sir, I'm very gracious and very glad to be here today as we're on the eve of a big win on the hog train as we're headed into Arlington with a head of steam. How great is that fan base? Because we're all aboard the hog train. The coaches are aboard the hog train. The players are aboard the hog train. The fans across the country are jumping aboard the hog train. How great is that? And a big win tomorrow in Arlington, Texas. I believe it. We're bringing the recipe, sir. And can fan base, how great is this? Can you smell what's baking in the oven? Because there's a recipe again, and we're bringing it to Arlington, Texas, and we're bringing back a win back to Fayetteville, Arkansas. How great is that?
Are you headed to Arlington?
Sir, so gracious to the morning. Big thanks. There's a fan that called me yesterday, and God bless him. He's just made a fan for life. I'm headed down probably early in the morning, and I'm bringing the whistle. And I know this team is bringing the whistle. I know this fan base is bringing what? The Woo Pig Suey. So let's go down there and just like the great Nike statement, just do it for this team. Just beat the Aggies and make this fan base a very happy fan base.
Are you fired up about it?
Sir,
Can't tell.
From my head to my toes, we win this game. The 9-game losing streak, sir, comes to an end tomorrow afternoon in Arlington, Texas.
Can't tell if Eddie's excited or not.
I think Eddie's a little excited. I think everybody around us is a little excited. Anybody need a wake-up call in there? I think we got everybody's attention.
That was the Eddie. And do you drink coffee? Because neither Tommy. People ask us all the time.
Eddie has to. Surely that's coffee-induced,
Well,
right?
sir,
we've had you on the phone a million times, but we've never had you on the radio show in the flesh. So, some people want to know, is this the real deal? I think we're getting the real deal here.
Most people, sir, I tell you what, how important is passion. And you just seen it. You want to make a statement across the country. Look at that environment against the Longhorns of Texas in Hawtown. And we're going to take that environment to Arlington. And when we leave, as like I said, the steam's going to be blowing. Everybody, Coach, I'm going to so say this, be so gracious. God bless you, Coach Pittman. God bless Hunter Yurchek. God bless all the coaches. And for this team, my message, just do it and make everybody happy.
All right, we're getting ready to talk to DJ Williams, I'm sure one of your favorite players of all time. Then we'll let you go get an IV and a nap here so you can recover from this. What's your best DJ Williams memory here before we talk to one of the great tight ends ever at Arkansas?
Mackey Award winner.
Mackey, one of the great ones ever.
Well, sir, just hard to say. There's been some great ones. You talk about Hunter Henry. You talk about, what he done for this program. Big catches. I can't remember, I like to say moments in time.
Yeah.
And certainly that gentleman provided moments in time. And what does an athlete do that provides on the playing field? He provides all delight, and certainly he was one of them.
All right.
I'd have to say the Mississippi State touchdown he had in Starkville in 2010. He
had
some
of great moments.
Memories all over the place. He made so many plays, it's hard to narrow it down to one or two of them, to be honest.
Well, I'm glad you're going to the game, and thank you for driving all the way up to say hello this morning.
Thank you so much, and to all the fans across the country, in the state, to the great people of the state of Arkansas, we're going to enjoy a win tomorrow. So all aboard the hog train and let the whistle blow.
There you go. So, in person.
Can't do it much better than that, Tommy.
I don't know. That's about as good as it can get right there.
The energy's going to get sucked out of the rest of the show.
I was blowing the whistle.
I think I think that's a good.
Eric Musselman wishes he had that much energy.
I know. We need to
Need a better whistle.
I think that's pretty good right there. So, Eddie's going to be bringing it tomorrow in Arlington. He's been bringing it this morning here at MD Hair Labs. Hey, Ole Miss coming up October the 9th. That's going to be another big road test for Arkansas. That same day, the first annual Will's RV Amateur BBQ Rib Competition is going to be going on. Doesn't cost anything to enter, and it's going to be judged by the guests. So people that come through, and it doesn't cost you anything to get in, are going to vote on what the best ribs are. So if you think you cook pretty good ribs, I think I cook pretty good ones. Clay, you think you cook pretty good ribs? This would be a good way for – I know we got a lot of guys listening out there that believe they are the best rib cooks. Well, here's your chance to prove it. It doesn't cost you anything to enter. They're going to pay $1,000 for first place, $500 for second, $250 for third. A little competition for side dishes and desserts as well. Tasting starts at 2 o'clock. All the votes will be in by 5. And all you got to do is cook at least 6 racks of ribs for this competition. So go by Will's RV, get all the details. They're going to have free beer, so I don't know how I'm going to keep Tye out of there that day. Free beer. You ready for this, Tye? Free bratwurst, hot dogs, chips, and drinks all day long. So get by Will's RV for details. If you want to sign up, call or text 479-306-5555, 306-5555 at Will's RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off I-49 in Springdale.
Clay, I think one of the reasons that Arkansas has a great chance to win this football game is a trio of 3 guys, Bumper Poole, Grant Morgan, and Hayden Henry. Now, Grant's got the majority of the credit heading into this season as a preseason All-American by several different accolades, but the way Bumper and really Hayden, I think, has made the biggest improvement. And all 3 of those guys have had to go through multiple injuries throughout their career, but when you have a rotation like that and as veteran and savvy as those 3 individuals are, I'd be hard-pressed to find not just anyone in college football, but most teams in the Southeastern Conference that have a trio of linebackers. Like, because I know Alabama lost one of their guys. Toa didn't have a good game against Florida. So, to be honest, I mean, it's hard to go scout teams all over the place and find 3 linebackers that stack up to Poole, Morgan, and Henry.
Yeah, you have to have playmakers, and they're doing a nice job up front with the defensive line, keeping blockers off those linebackers, and that's the critical aspect: is can you make tackles in space, and do your linebackers play downhill? And that's the major difference that I see, is that linebackers are not making tackles 5 yards downfield; they're making them downhill. They're making them at the line of scrimmage. Lost yardage plays are up. And I think then you add Jalen Catalon and Joe Fouché, who are also making tackles. That group of 4, 5, 6 players, 3 of them that you mentioned, those linebackers, and you're able to keep them rested, and that you have a chance to have a great defense. And I think the cornerbacks are a little better. Ladarius Bishop is the one that seems to get beat a little bit. But I think that this is a team that tackles better and plays downhill, and then they swarm. Sometimes it's not the first guy. I saw against Georgia Southern, Jalen Catalon missed a couple of tackles, but there was somebody right there. I mean, it just like boom, boom, boom. Okay, the first guy doesn't get you. The second or third is going to get there because they're coming.
Yeah, when you bring up the assisted tackles, Tommy, I think it's 4 of the top 7 players Arkansas has in assistant tackles in this league. So think about that. When it comes now, not solo tackles, but assist tackles, I think Arkansas has 4 of the top 7, if I remember correctly reading that statistic. And that shows me what Clay
swarming to the ball.
Yeah, what Clay just illustrated. They're flying to the football regardless if it's Jalen, Grant, Bumper. I mean, I've seen some defensive linemen make plays where they've had to chase down a guy just because it's an effort play. That's what it comes down to.
And a lot of stats this time of the year you can't put a lot of stock into because – you don't have balanced schedules, and you only got a handful of 3 games to balance. But what you guys are talking about there, you can put some stock into because you're talking about effort and getting to the ball and everybody finding the ball and seeing it and getting there. So assist tackle numbers, that's just the technique and the way you're playing defense, Clay. So that shouldn't change moving forward, hopefully.
Yeah, so Isaiah Spillers is the first guy is not going to get him down. Mm-hmm. You're going to have help, and he's top-end tailback. This is the best they've played. I think he's better than Bijan Robinson from Texas, who had a lot of hype. This is the real deal, and he's, he has the ability to make a cut in space to make you wrong. So you have to have help coming to get him down.
Yeah, and one of those guys that'll be helping is Jalen Catalon, who Jimbo Fisher had high praise for earlier this week. And Arkansas, the cool thing, we're still seeing the defensive line develop a little bit, but you loved what you saw from John Ridgway, and Trey Williams is really starting to emerge coming off the edge. You've got an All-American at the linebacker position in Grant. You've got one in Jalen, and you've got a slew of guys that seem to be stepping up defensively. And I've just really enjoyed what I've seen from the Arkansas defense so far. You're top 10 in rushing offense. Your defense is one of the better scoring defenses in college football to this point. You've given up, 17, 21, and 17. I'm trying to think of the right score. I think that's right, 17, 21, 17.
30, what was it, 38, 17?
Yeah, that sounds right, 17, 21, 17. So it's not like you've given up, or 10, excuse me. It's not like you've given up a lot of points so far, and hopefully it'll be a slobber knocker dogfight tomorrow.
Yeah, one other thing here before we talk to DJ coming up is penalties. I mean, I think that's one area we've probably seen Arkansas have a few too many of, and that's one thing Sam Pittman's talked about. Clay, you hope you maybe, through practice, discipline, just, getting into this groove here, maybe by your fourth game, see the number of penalties kind of come back the direction you need it. So, yeah,
it's there have been some really disastrous penalties in this series. I go back to the Dan Skipper tripping penalty that was just it was a critical aspect of the game, and there have been some tough holding calls too. So those are things that you have to eliminate. And don't let them dominate a game like this where, you seem to be able to control the line of scrimmage, but you don't want to, have to, you don't want first and 20 and first and 25.
Can't get behind the chains. All right, we're going to talk to DJ Williams in just a moment. I want to tell you about the Heddon Super Spook Jr. Nothing's going to help you on the Arkansas River better for some fishing in the morning or some laydowns at Beaver and Washita and Table Rock than the Heddon Super Spook Jr. It's the top water bait to call up some bass this time of the year. The Super Spook is a smaller version of the world's most famous top water lure, and the Spook is the original walk the dog lure. It's been tricking big bass for almost 100 years. Find it at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle shops everywhere. It's the Heddon Super Spook Jr.
DJ, appreciate you making some time for us this morning. We'll talk about MD a little bit coming up, but I want to reflect from your perspective on this Texas A&M series because it's a games that you played in, you played a pivotal role in, and you won them. You didn't lose them, and Arkansas has found themselves on the wrong end. What does it take to beat a rival like Texas A&M?
One, you got to have some horses on your team. Talent is a big thing. Texas A&M has been very fortunate about having guys in that program that are very athletic and they're very talented, and they've been there for a while. I think their quarterback for the past 4 years was a 4-year starter, very talented guy, and they've had guys like Tristan Kirk doing well in the NFL, Myles Garrett, first overall draft pick, for Cleveland Browns back in the day. So when you don't have the talent to kind of match up with those guys, then it's just about consistency. And I think when you think about consistency, when you have a team that's gone through multiple head coaches, different offensive coordinators, different systems, it's just hard to get the ball rolling.
DJ, everyone remembers you guys as a passing football team, whether it was Ryan, who you got to play with, and then Tyler, and you got to play with some great wide receivers, Jarius Wright, Joe Adams, Greg Childs, and then your position teammate, Chris Gregg. But people forget how dominant of a force Niall Davis was, and then Dennis Johnson as well. This Arkansas rushing attack is top 10 right now in yards per game running the football. What kind of similarities do you see between how they run the football and how you guys did back in those early 2010 days?
I would just say running back by committee. The whole backfield. You mentioned two guys, Niall Davis, Dennis Johnson. You also had Broderick Green in the backfield as well, and you brought in a Ronnie Wingo. So you had different guys that kind of had different skill sets that you said it, a lot of people remember us from throwing the ball over the field. Obviously, it's hard not to when you got a guy like Ryan Mallett, Tyler Wilson throwing the ball, and receiving core with Jarius Wright, Joe Adams, Colby Hamilton, Greg Childs in his prime was unreal. But what I think really helped us in the passing game was how dominant, I would say those running backs were. And we had a very good offensive line, too, that was very versatile in the pass and run game. So I think sometimes that run game did get overshadowed, but we were a established the run first type of team, and it allowed us to, have a defense be honest and put us in some good man-to-man situations to let, highlight people kind of shine down the field.
We're live at MD Hair Labs in Rogers. We're going to talk to DJ about that coming up. But you mentioned all those quarterbacks and great passing quarterbacks. I'd like to hear your thoughts on KJ Jefferson, who is a willing runner, DJ, and probably the best running threat. I don't know, maybe going back to Matt Jones that Arkansas has had at quarterback as far as the threat to really rack up some yards. It's like having another running back back there. What are your thoughts as you watch this offense unfold through the first 3 games with KJ Jefferson in this offense under Kendall Briles?
Yeah, I don't know yet if he's a willing runner or he just depends on his run too much. That's kind of where we are. I think the first few games, especially that Rice game, they kind of let KJ do his thing. And I went back and I watched tape, and I believe the first play of the season for the 2021 Razorback football team should have been a touchdown. It looked like a rollout to the left, but after watching tape, I believe he was supposed to stay in the pocket. His first option was Traylon Burks. He was doubled, and then he had a wide-open Davion Warren running down the middle of the rim. But, as soon as he came off his first option, he pulled the ball and rolled out to the left, and it became a very hard ball to throw across his body. So I was very curious to see if he would grow and develop and trust in his offensive line and staying in the pocket more. And you kind of saw he kind of started doing that against Texas. I think, Kendall Briles kind of slowed it down for him a little bit. I think they were making him think too fast. And I think once that Texas game, you saw him come to the line of scrimmage, and they kind of told the crowd to be quiet. And I think Kendall Briles kind of made the decisions for him after he saw the defense. Yeah. And it was really good seeing the last game that we played against Georgia Southern. I think Arkansas could have ran the ball every single play. I think people at the first quarter, they were a little worried saying offense isn't getting rolling. I just think they knew they could have ran when they wanted to. They were just forcing KJ to stay in that pocket and go through his reads to get him in a rhythm against the Texas A&M team, who I could see loading up the box and forcing him to make some decisions and throwing the football down the field. So it's going to come to him trusting his coordinator, trusting his reads and his offensive line, and staying in the pocket and really trying to see what the defense is doing before the ball snaps.
DJ, we got about a minute and a half or so left here. I know you've trusted the team here at MD Hair where we're at this morning, and tell us why you turned to MD Hair and why you trust them so much.
Man, I'm there with just about every single man that has woken up or saw a photo, and they looked at their head and they were like, whoa, something ain't right now. What's going on? I know that feeling. It goes from trying to hide it and then cutting your hair real low, then you wear a hat all the time, and, just looking at photos popping up from the past, you're like, Dad, oh, my hair, what could I do to get it back? And so people don't like to admit it, but they think about it all the time, and they always look for solutions. And, you hear about hair transplants, and that's not what they're not doing that at MD Hair Lab. They're transplanting your own hair. People think, I don't want somebody else's hair follicles in my head. That just sounds weird. They're taking the ones that are still growing and readjusting them and moving them around, and they're growing just like your normal hair. So it's completely natural. It's an easy procedure. You don't have to go under for it. You sit there and talk to some good people, sit back, relax, maybe watch a show. Who knows? So it was a really good option for me wanting to keep some hair, I would say, and not worry about putting on that hat all the time.
Yeah, and real quick, one of the things we met Dr. Clifton earlier. She was with us. MD Hair is composed of board-certified physicians, so you got medical experts when you come here.
Yeah, they do it the right way. And the thing about Dr. Clifton, she's not out to get people's money. The first thing they do, you do the consultations, and if they don't feel like this procedure would work for you, they're going to recommend you not do it. They don't want to have you spend all that money and it not pan out. They really are fair, and they're genuine, and they're honest, and, they want results to go well. They don't want any bad reviews. So if you're curious if you'd be a good candidate, just set up a consultation, and they'll keep it real with you and let you know if this is something that could potentially work for you in the future.
All right, thanks, DJ, and hopefully we'll get to catch up again soon with you.
Sounds great, man. Have a good one.
All right, DJ Williams live from Dallas, Texas, and him and the Pig Trail Nation crew getting ready for Arkansas and Texas A&M. We're back and better than ever. All eyes are on the gridiron as teams are back to start another football season. And as always, BetOnline is your #1 spot for all the college and pro football action this season. With a new updated site and interface and even more odds, props, and contests, BetOnline continues to be the #1 source for everything college football. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 100% welcome bonus. That's double your initial deposit just for signing up. Don't forget to use the promo code NFL100. BetOnline, the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts.